What's up guys, it's Greeny and Phi, and today I want to talk to you about some of the more obscure laws that I found in Thailand. People may call them weird and wacky. That's what I would call them. I was reading an article online the other day about a law that if you splash a pedestrian that's walking, it's a jailable offense here in Thailand. I saw that in the Tiger. They had an article about it. So I decided to do a little research and look at some of the laws that are just kind of obscure or weird or wacky here in Thailand, and you would not believe how many I found. I found 15 that I'm going to share with you guys. The top 15 crazy, weird, wacky laws or rules or things in Thailand. And something happened to me the other day. I was going to get my license. I took that motorbike class. If you follow the channel, you may know this. Took the motorbike class, and I went to get my license, and there was some weird rules that they told me. I have to go back and get everything finished because they just couldn't do it. I'm gonna go back tomorrow and get it done. Just crazy weird stuff. I'll share that with you at the end. But the first thing, like I was telling you, is that if you splash a pedestrian, you could face up to 3 years in prison and a fine. Did you know that?
I don't know that. I do that all the time.
They call it the Road Traffic Safety Act, Section 43. You're supposed to be aware of the safety and concerns of others while you're driving. So in Michigan, we had a governor, she's the governor now, and she ran on the saying, fix the damn roads. A lot of people, when they heard about this law in Thailand, they weren't aware of it. They said to the Thai government, fix the damn roads, because they're always flooding and people feel it's not their fault if they splash other people. Number 2, babe, did you know it's illegal to leave your house without underwear on?
What?
Yeah, there's a law in Thailand, you have to wear underwear. So if you come to Thailand, make sure you pack your underwear.
Illegal that we be naked in the house?
What?
I mean naked, not naked.
No, if you leave the house, you have to be wearing underwear. That's a law here. You live here, you should know that.
It's my property though. I'm gonna wear the panty or not, it's mine.
No, that's a law. Number 3 is the less magiste laws. And a lot of people are aware of these, that you can't put down or say anything bad about the royal family or anything like that. You could be fined, in prison. In a minute, I think a guy just got 10 years in prison for posting some things on Facebook that were negative against the king's family. But number 4, did you know that if you put down or disparage visiting like politicians or guests from another country, you know, if the royal family or the government here has a guest from another country, if you put those people down or say anything disparaging about them, you could also go to jail for that. You could face up to 5 years in prison. Number 5, if you drop money, don't step on it. Stepping on Thai currency is an arrestable offense. Probably, I'm thinking, because it has the king's picture on it. So that kind of goes back to those other laws. But
If I'm walking, how do I gonna see that, right? Like if I do it on the accident, it's like I didn't do it on the purpose.
well, how do they know if you did it on purpose or an accident if somebody
Because
sees you?
we walking and we just
Okay,
look.
well, just don't do it, okay?
Okay.
Pay attention. There's a driving requirement, and it probably won't affect you, but you can't drive here without a shirt on. And it's funny because growing up in America, there was like an urban myth that you have to be wearing a shirt when you drive, and that was bullshit. There was no such law. But here in Thailand, driving a motorbike, driving a car, you gotta wear your shirt. Another thing that's odd is when you're driving a motorbike or a motorcycle here, you have to wear a helmet. Isn't that crazy?
The helmet I understand because for the safety.
I know, it's an obvious law, but what's crazy to me is I don't see anybody doing it. Like, I'll say 80% of the people here aren't wearing helmets. So, you know, maybe start enforcing that law, that, you know, then people will know it's a law.
It's kind of caught the line. I'm gonna wear the shirt or not, it's mine.
Babe, nobody wants to see you out riding around on a motorbike with no shirt on.
Okay.
Okay, number 7, it's against the law to spit your gum out on the pavement, that's kind of gross. That's almost like littering, I guess. Littering's illegal, so spitting your gum out on the sidewalk or in the street.
Really?
Oh, really? You got nothing good to say about anything.
I step on the gum when I'm like...
Well, you didn't spit it out. It's not illegal to step on it. It's illegal to spit.
There should be someone spit on. That's why I'm step on it.
Well, then if you would have saw him, you could have made a citizen's arrest. Number 8, alcohol is prohibited at many places. Some are obvious: schools, public buildings, temples, hospitals. That's obvious. But public parks, no alcohol. If you're in a public park and you get caught drinking, you could go to jail.
How about we go to the beer garden or something? There's a public too.
No, the beer garden's fine. Number 9 is there's a thing here called the Playing Card Act, and it's illegal to have more than 120 cards. So what is there, not 52 cards in a deck? 52 pickup? So if you have 120 cards, so basically anything more than 2 decks of cards, that's illegal. You could be jailed and arrested for that. Does that make sense? Well, I think it's because gambling is illegal here in Thailand, no gambling, and they figure if you got more than 2 decks of cards, that maybe you're doing a private casino or running a big card game, something like that. So that kind of makes sense if they don't want you to gamble, but kind of odd. If you have 3 decks of cards in your house, you can go to jail. Hopefully they don't come and check you.
How about like we are like horoscope?
Cards, like cards when we play rummy?
We use that card too.
For a horoscope? How many though? Not more, but you can't have more than 120. Number 10, you need to carry your passport or ID with you. That's not that weird or wacky. It probably isn't right, but I always just took a picture of my passport and my visa and walked around with that. And I've never even been asked for ID here, but you know, technically you're supposed to have your passport. That's not that weird and wacky. But moving on to number 11, it's illegal to speak any language into a microphone. Like if you're amplifying a microphone, like you know the trucks and stuff that come with the loud blaring microphone.
เป็นสมาชิกสภาองค์การบริหารส่วนจังหวัดชลบุรีเขต 3 อำเภอสัตหีบ
Can only be in Thai. If you're speaking English, it's illegal.
What?
Yeah, the only exceptions are a concert, or if you have like government permission, or if it's some sort of religious thing, then you can do it. This, I'd like to see some of these guys get locked up, like when you're on Koh Samui and they're driving around with the big truck saying, you know, big fight tonight, Muay Thai. That's all in English, or they're advertising restaurants, that's all in English, so that's illegal. Can't do that. Never saw anybody get arrested for it, but number 12, if you fly any flag that's not the Thai flag, like an American flag or anything, you could get a month in prison. You can't fly any other flags here in Thailand unless it's the embassy or consulate or you're a diplomat. And if you disrespect the Thai flag, the penalty could be 6 years in prison.
The flag.
Yeah, if you disrespect the Thai flag, like step on it or burn it, you could get 6 years in prison. If you do that to any other flag, like American flag or any other country's flag, you could get 2 years in prison for that. So even if you had like a flag of some country you hate and you damage it or something, you could go to prison for 2 years here in Thailand. Number 13, remember when Jared stayed here and the juristic office had to sign him up and write down that he was staying here? They had to get his ID and his passport. That's if you have any foreign guest stay more than one night, they have to do that. They have to let immigration know. That's what, there was a big thing about that a while ago about the TM30s, who's responsible. Well, it's, you know, if you have the people stay, you're responsible. So we have a juristic office, they do it, but like a hotel or whoever, they're responsible for signing that person up and letting immigration know that they're staying at your place or at their hotel or whatever. But anything more than one night. Number 14. So if we get divorced, did you know that I could get married like tomorrow, but you have to wait 310 days?
I know it. It's normal thing, right? To make sure that I'm not pregnant with you. Like if I'm married.
If you were cheating and you got pregnant by somebody else and you divorced me to be with that person, you would still have to wait 310 days. But that's the concept, to make sure that you're not pregnant.
Slow down. If I'm cheating on you, and then I'm pregnant, and we divorced, what the fuck?
You still got to wait 310 days to get married to your new man. I could get married the next day. Anyways, whatever. So last one on the list, number 15, which this is not that weird and wacky, but I kind of have an explanation for some things going on with this. So if you were to bring a vape or vape pen into Thailand, or you vape in Thailand, that's against the law. However, they recently legalized marijuana, so you could smoke a big fat joint, but you can't do a vape. And the reason why I think for that is the marijuana has already been produced here. It's getting produced here all the time, and now they're selling it. It's a production of Thailand. But vape, all that stuff, you know, that juice, all that stuff comes kind of from China. So it's like putting the apple before the cart, or the cart before the whatever. If somehow they were like mass producing the juice here or vapes, then they would probably legalize it because they want to make the money on it. They want it to be produced here before they legalize it. It's not being produced here, so I don't know, whatever, but the marijuana is. So kind of strange thing. Somebody's making money off the marijuana now.
Me. many
You
people.
can't. Your nail shop's by a school. That's one of the new rules. They just came out with a bunch of rules for the marijuana. Like if you're within a certain amount from a temple, a certain amount of feet from a school, all these different rules. You can't have a marijuana shop. So there's tons of rules. You can look that up, Google it. So what I was going to tell you guys at the beginning about when I just went to get my driver's license is I got there and I didn't have my yellow book, which whatever. I meant to bring it, but it was locked and safe. I didn't feel like getting it. I thought I had all the paperwork from the school. So I have to go back and bring that. There's two ways to get the license here. So when the school did my paperwork, I used my pink ID card, which is a Thai ID card. If you do that and they use your Thai, the number that they give you, you can only get a driver's license to drive in your province, Chonburi. Okay, so if I want to get a driver's license to drive anywhere in the country, I have to go, and this is just for my motorbike. It would be for your license too, but I already had that one and did it the right way. But if you want a license, any type of license to drive all over Thailand, you got to go to immigration. You got to get a letter of residency from immigration. In this case, I would have had to have this school redo all the paperwork with my passport number on it, showing that I had this letter from immigration. If you just take your Thai resident ID, I had the school use that number, my Thai resident number, I can only get the license for Chonburi. It's just so strange.
What
I was
gonna
like,
make it like everything's so difficult?
I don't know. I said to them, I said, this is silly. I said, this is so silly. So I was planning on going to get the thing from immigrant, but you know what? Screw it. I'm just going back tomorrow. I'll get the thing from Chonburi. I'll just get my license in Chonburi and I'll just deal with it. And if I go somewhere else, whatever. If I got to pay a fine, I pay a fine or whatever. I don't know. That's the video for today, guys.
No, you have one more rule.
What's that?
When you married with a Thai woman, you can't say no to your wife.
Oh, that's a law? Is that the Thai law or the Phi law? Thai or Phi?
It's my law.
If you like the video, check out this new playlist. I'm setting up all my videos. If it's an informational Thailand video, I'm going to put it in this playlist. So if you want more information about Thailand and Thai laws, Thai this or Thai that or immigration or driver's license, any of the things that I've dealt with here that I've made videos about, property, buying property, check this playlist out here. If you liked the video, please think about subscribing to our channel. We could really use the support. Greeny out.
Fly out.
And like the video.
Thumb up.
Bye-bye.
Thumb up.